Okay, hi everybody. Thanks for joining us today. I'm excited to learn all about Superman. Andy Imlay is going to be joining us to give us the history of Superman and answer all your questions. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to him. How are you, Andy?
Doing fantastic. Thanks for having me tonight. I appreciate it.
Oh, sure, my pleasure.
So let's fly right into this. It's exciting to be having this today, June 18th, because June 18th is known as the day that Superman actually crash landed to Earth. So this is known as Clark Kent's birthday, which is exciting. So as many of you know, Superman started in 1938, Action Comics #1. Now, if you're a huge fan like me, you know, back in 2014, a pristine issue of this 1938 comic with its original price of 10 cents, still on the cover, sold on eBay for an astounding $3.2 million, making it the most valuable comic of all time, which I think is really cool. So let me share a photo real quick here of the creators of the Superman series. Let's see if we can. I think I did that right. I think you guys can see that. That is Jerry Siegel, Jerry Siegel on the right there, Joe Shuster on the left. Those guys actually created Superman. These guys, oh shit. Are you kidding me? I closed. These guys actually created Superman. And let's see here. Sorry about this, guys. I'm having some technical difficulties here. These guys actually created Superman, and in 1933, when they first created Superman, he wasn't actually created as a hero. They created him as a villain. He actually had a bald head, kind of looks like Lex Luthor, if you guys know what Lex Luthor looked like. And they weren't selling a lot of comics at that time, so they were like, okay, maybe we need to do something different. So they decided to have Superman actually as a hero in the comics, which boded well for them. And they were actually able to sell more comics at that time because of that. Let me see here if I can pull up a photo of Action Comics cover #1 here. Yep, hope you guys can see that there. That is Action Comics #1. That is the one that sold for over $3.2 million back in 2014. A lot of folks try to get a copy of that because that's known as the best-selling comic of all times. There is only about 100 copies in existence that I did via my research here that actually are in good condition, that are considered a 9 on the scale of comic books. That are what are considered in pristine conditions. So after the birth of the 1938 comic, with the success of that, they started the Adventures of Superman. It was a long-running radio serial that originally aired from 1940 to 1951, featuring the DC Comics character Superman. And they syndicated it into a radio show in New York on February 12th, 1940. And Bud Collyer was the voice of Superman for that. And actually, during this radio series, a little fun fact I learned, the creation of kryptonite actually did not exist until the radio series in the 40s. And the reason they created kryptonite was actually so Bud Collyer could take a little vacation, because if you know anything about radio shows in the 40s, it was a lot of taxing work, a lot of doing a lot of voiceover work and that kind of thing. So he said, I need to take a vacation. So they were like, okay, we know what we're going to do. Let's create kryptonite. And So they exposed Superman to kryptonite, and Bud actually got to take a vacation. Another guy filled in for him that did a lot of the groans and a lot of the other voices that you hear in some of the original radio series back in the 40s. They did those as a 15-minute serial, sometimes running 3 to 5 times a week from February 7th till June 24th of 1949. And then it ran as a half-hour series as well. And then it continued on ABC until 1951. So in total, they had about a little over 2,000 original episodes of The Adventures of Superman aired on American radio, which was kind of cool because this was before the birth of television as we know it. And then after that, the actual first birth of a TV version of Superman actually happened with Kirk Alyn. A lot of people don't know that he was actually the very first Superman. There were serials that would play before the movies, and he was best known to play the DC Comics actor in live action starting in 1948. And then they had a sequel called Atom Man versus Superman that aired in 1950 before the movies, which was really kind of cool. So a lot of people think that maybe George Reeves or maybe even Christopher Reeve was the first person to play Superman. That, in fact, is not the case. It was Kirk Alyn. If you're interested to see some Kirk Alyn memorabilia, you can find that not actually too far from here. 2 hours from here is Metropolis, Illinois. It's a little town in southern Illinois where you can actually go see some of this memorabilia from the Kirk Alyn serial series, which is awesome. And what I also know from a lot of my passion of Superman is that you can actually tell the age of a person based on what their favorite Superman character is. You'll ask them, for instance, who is your favorite Superman? And if they answer George Reeves, you know that they're a little bit older. Doesn't mean it's a bad thing. And they know George Reeves from playing Superman for his role in The Adventures of Superman from 1952 till 1958 during that program. And the other interesting fact about George Reeves is his death at age 45 from a gunshot wound actually remains a controversial subject to this day. People don't know actually what happened. There's a lot of controversy surrounding George Reeves' death. There was a movie actually put out about it called Hollywoodland starring Ben Affleck. That can give you some more information on that if you're interested to know more on the controversy surrounding George Reeves' death. And in 1960, Reeve was actually awarded with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame on Hollywood Boulevard for his contributions to the TV industry. So that happened in 1960. Do we have any questions up until this point at all?
Not just yet, but keep going. I'm sure we'll have some shortly.
Okay. So actually in 1973, which is what a lot of people remember, Super Friends was an American animated television series about a team of superheroes, and that ran from 1973 until 1985 on ABC as part of its Saturday morning cartoon lineup. So if you guys remember Saturday morning cartoons, everybody will remember the Super Friends that aired from 73 till 85. That was actually produced by Hanna-Barbera, and it was based on the Justice League of America. They had some associated comic books that went along with that. And that animated series, believe it or not, ran for 109 episodes. And they actually had a crossover with Scooby-Doo at one point. So if you're a fan of Scooby-Doo, go check out the crossover between Scooby-Doo and the Super Friends. It's actually pretty cool. So Now, this has to be my most favorite part of all, and this is really what a lot of folks talk about. A lot of folks got into the fandom because of this. In 1978 was the premiere of Superman the movie in movie theaters. It actually premiered in December of that year, and for its time, I think at the box office it raised $300 million in ticket sales. They were doing things in the movie that had never been done before, as far as flight. The trailer for the movie was "You Will Believe a Man Can Fly." And there were actually some follow-up movies to that, Superman 2 in 1980, which a lot of folks remember that. That's when they introduced the character General Zod into the mix, which a lot of folks really enjoy that movie. Superman 3 in 1983.
Hey, Andy.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you. I have two questions for you.
Oh, excellent.
So the first one is, what's your favorite Superman movie?
My favorite Superman movie, I would definitely have to go with Superman 2, that premiered in 1980. That was, there's a lot of action in the movie. Not saying Superman wasn't a great movie. Of course, every origin story is a little slow, but Superman 2 is really when they get into the action and you really see some conflict in the movie, and I really enjoy that movie.
Neat. The next question is, how is Superman's personality in older shows as compared to now?
So I would say in older type shows like the George Reeve series, if you go back and watch some of that, if you go back and watch some of the Superman movies from the late 70s to the 80s, it was all about truth, justice, and the American way, and really fighting for that, trying to find the good in people. You know what I mean? And then as you progress, the movies that you see now, we're getting a more darker take of Superman, as far as what you've seen in Justice League, what you've seen in Batman versus Superman. What you've seen in Man of Steel, which we're going to cover here in a little bit. Just a darker take on the character from the director, Zack Schneider. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but people always associate Superman with a wholesome, good image. So some folks like it, some folks don't care for it.
All right, thank you very much. More questions.
Okay. And then let's pick up at Superman 3 in 1983. That's actually when you saw Richard Pryor, who was a famous comedian at the time, premiere in a Superman movie, which was interesting. This is a movie where Superman actually fights a computer. So if you ever want to see Superman defeat a computer, or you're into computers, this is an interesting movie to watch. A lot of controversy surrounding this next movie. Superman 4, The Quest for Peace in 1987. This was actually one that Christopher Reeve had a lot of influence on, a lot of say on. This was his last role as Clark Kent and Superman in a Superman movie. Some folks didn't care for it. Some people liked it. Some people thought they could have done better. This was also weird because the villain in that movie was Nuclear Man, which was kind of weird. He had kind of opposite powers of Superman. So some folks liked the movie, some folks didn't like the movie. So I'm kind of in the middle on that one, you know.
Got another question for you.
What was that?
I said I got another question for you.
Okay.
Somebody wants to know, who is the best Lois Lane?
Ooh, that is a good question. So in my opinion, this would be, of course, my opinion only. This is not something you got to take to the bank. And let me see if I can pull up a photo here. Give me just a moment here, guys, because I've got the perfect photo to go with that question. So let me share my photos here. Give me just a moment here. All right. Let's see. Here we go. And let's see if that. There. All right. So as you can see, this is a picture of me with Margot Kidder. And in my opinion, she was Lois Lane for all the 4 Superman movies that you have. Superman 1, Superman 2, Superman 3, Superman 4. She was, in my opinion, the best Lois Lane out of all the ones that they've actually had in the series. That's not to say I haven't met the others. They're great all the same. But as far as she is concerned, she had the most. She had a lot of charisma when it came to playing Lois Lane, and her and Christopher Reeve just had a chemistry on screen that was just it was something else. And I got to talk to her a lot about that, and they wanted to pick an unknown person to play Superman at that point, and they picked Christopher Reeve, who had not been in a lot of movies up to that point. And I just think they nailed that on-screen chemistry as far as that was concerned. So in my opinion, that was the best Lois Lane. That's not to say that the other ones weren't great. Shout out to Noah O'Neill, who played Lois Lane in the in The Adventures of Superman with George Reeves. Shout out to Erica Durance, who played it in Smallville. And then, of course, your current Lois Lane now, Amy Adams. So I believe that answers that question. Do we have any other questions? Okay. So after the quest for peace, it was kind of weird for us Superman fans because we didn't really have a lot at that point. And then in 1992, comics really threw us for a loop. In 1992, they had this idea that we're going to kill Superman. That comic was called The Death of Superman. That's Superman number 75. If you guys are interested in going to your local comic book shop to order that, or maybe look for it on eBay, because I think that's about the only place you can find it these days. When news broke that DC planned to kill Superman, a beloved cultural icon, The Death of Superman received unprecedented coverage from the mainstream media. It was all over the news back then. They sold over 6 million copies, and it became the top-selling comic of 1992, right? It was divided into 3 story arcs: Doomsday, who actually killed Superman in the comics; Funeral for a Friend, where you see the funeral of Superman, as well as other superheroes in the comic being pallbearers for Superman. And then, of course, Reign of Superman, where you're going to see actually Superman come back. There were several months there where nobody knew what was going to happen. Nobody knew if Superman was coming back, if they killed him off for good. People were legit upset. People were like losing their minds. A loose animated film adaptation to that was released in 2007 called Superman Doomsday. It is rated PG-13, so I don't recommend you watch that around your kids unless they're older and can deal with some animated violence, because it does get quite violent. And then in 2018, 2019, they released The Death of Superman and Reign of Superman, respectively. So if you're interested in that story arc and want to venture into that, it is kind of interesting, just because they created this character in such a way to where he was impervious to pain and he couldn't be killed. And then they killed him off. So people didn't think it was possible. They didn't know if it was a publicity stunt for DC to sell more comics. They actually didn't know what was happening, and it was a really strange time for Really, really strange time for Superman fans, because there was about a 3-month period there where they killed off Superman, and we didn't know if Superman was coming back, but he did. So we were really excited about that. So
I have 2 questions. The first one is, who is your favorite character on Smallville?
ooh, God, Smallville. I watched that show for 10 seasons, and we're getting ready to get into Smallville. So can I wait on that question until we get ready to cover Smallville here?
Sure.
Yeah, it's actually coming up in the timeline here. So I've actually got some photos from some folks from Smallville that I've actually met that I'd like to share with you guys. And gosh, I could talk about Smallville all night.
Well, I got one more question for you.
Sure.
What makes Superman different than other superheroes?
So what makes Superman different is not only is there the alien side to him, but he embraces our humanity by becoming Clark Kent. He doesn't necessarily have to take on this disguise to fool us into thinking he's somebody else, but he does it in such a way to where he can learn more about humanity. And I think that speaks a lot to the character of Superman, because of course Batman does it with the whole Bruce Wayne Batman thing to hide his identity, but Superman was the one to really do it first. And I just think that's really cool how they did that. And if you pay real close attention, the posture of Superman and Clark Kent's different. The voice of Superman and Clark Kent are different. The hairstyle, just how he carries himself. That's how he was able to fool people, not because he was the same person, but he changed so much about himself to try to fit in that it was. Christopher Reeve's portrayal is spot on, because if you watch his portrayal of Clark Kent, it's awkward, it's goofy, and honestly, that's how most of us are when we're around people that we're not sure about, or we're in a new environment, like when he was starting to work at the Daily Planet. He was showing us that it's okay to be nervous. It's okay to stumble over your words. It's okay to not know what's going to happen next, because ultimately we're all a little nervous about something. And I think a lot of people relate more to Clark Kent than they do to Superman. But I really think that's what sets him apart, is just that he embraces humanity, even though he didn't really have to in the first place. So kind of a long answer, but I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
Am I good to move on?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, so in 1993, this was really cool. I was getting ready to start high school, and The New Adventures of Superman came on ABC from September 12th, 1993 to June 14th, 1997. And that starred Dean Cain as Clark Kent and Superman, and Terry Hatcher as Lois Lane, which I thought was really cool. I'd come home from school and I'd get ready to watch Dean Cain on the TV. And I just thought that was really awesome. Like, holy crap. It was a different take on Superman that we hadn't seen before. Clark Kent was still kind of awkward, still kind of goofy. But it was a different take all the same. So again, let me share a photo with you guys. And there you are. There's a photo with me a couple years back with none other than Dean Cain. So really cool guy, real down to earth. If you ever get a chance to meet Dean, he loves talking about Superman. He loves talking about his role in Supergirl. Also, if you've checked out that show on the CW network that hasn't been out for very long, couple seasons. So Dean Cain's a real down-to-earth guy. Real cool series. That series was kind of weird. It only lasted for 5 seasons. They actually ended it because Terry Hatcher was pregnant. So if you're interested to see memorabilia from that show, again, go visit the Super Museum, supermuseum.com. Tickets are $5 to get into the museum, and you can see memorabilia from the actual show. You can take pictures with it. There's actually some Dean Cain autograph stuff in there that's really cool to see. Take your whole family, get a photo in front of the 15-foot high Superman statue. I just love the place, so that's why I talk about it all the time. Okay, so somebody had a question about Smallville. So Smallville premiered in October 16th, 2001. So it's one of the longest running Superman series on TV because they didn't end the season until May 13th of 2011. Everybody knows where they were when they watched the 2-part season finale of Smallville. I was eating KFC. So somebody asked me, who's my favorite character from Smallville? So let me see if I can find that photo for you guys. Here it is. Let's see. So let me share a photo again with you guys. Give me just a moment here. Hang loose. Here we are. And boom, there is me with Michael Rosenbaum, also known as Lex Luthor from the Smallville series. Really awesome guy. Fun fact, he lives around here. So if you're ever hanging around Newburgh or Evansville and you happen to run into Michael Rosenbaum, it's because he's probably in town visiting his mom. So that's always cool. You can catch him just hanging out somewhere, having a beer, or hanging out, sitting on my lap at a hockey game. It's really weird, the places that you'll see Michael Rosenbaum. And anybody got any more questions about Smallville? Because I know it was on for 10 seasons.
Not right now.
Okay, so that was Rosenbaum actually left the series in season, I believe, 6 or 7. And did not return until the finale. I hate to spoil it to you guys if you haven't seen it. He returned in the finale to reprise his role as Lex Luthor. So if you do have Hulu, I believe all the seasons of Smallville are on Hulu right now to be streamed. So if you're still stuck in quarantine trying to figure out something to do, you can check out Smallville on Hulu. And that's it's pretty cool. Let's see. So
I got one more question for you about Smallville.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
What's your favorite episode?
Ooh, man, there was like 215 episodes. You want me to pick one episode? Jeez. Man, I'd have to really say specifically. I really liked the very first episode of Smallville, where Lex kind of drives off the bridge and Clark kind of catches him and he doesn't know that that's what happened and he's still trying to play it off as, I don't know what you're talking about and all that kind of thing. And then you kind of get introduced to these other characters. The first couple seasons of Smallville were really cool because he was just discovering his powers. And I go back and watch that first episode over and over and over again. And it solidifies the fact on why I fell in love with the series way back in 2001. So.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me share a little bit more about Smallville before we move on, because that was on that was on the TV for a long time. Like I said, it was on for 10 years. Let me see if I believe I've got another Smallville photo here to share with you guys. Let me find it. Oh, there we are. So I go over to the Superman celebration every year. It's over in Metropolis, Illinois. And they hold it the first full week in June from Thursday until Sunday. Unfortunately, they did not have it this year. So definitely go ahead and make your plans for next year to attend. I've been attending for the last 14 or 15 years now, and I've had awesome opportunities to meet celebrities like Erica Durance from Smallville. She played Lois Lane in some of the later series of Smallville. Super nice person. That's Lois there hugging my wife. So 2 Loises in one picture there. So that's pretty awesome. Some people liked her portrayal of the character. Some folks didn't, which is completely fine. That's people's opinion. Now, coinciding with Smallville, in 2006, they put out a movie called Superman Returns that was directed and co-produced by Bryan Singer, who'd done a lot of the X-Men films. And it was based on the Superman character, of course. It was the 6th and final installment in the original Superman series, and it served as a homage sequel to the Superman movies from the late 70s, the 80s, that kind of thing. The film starred Brandon Routh as Clark Kent Superman, Kate Bosworth as Lois Lane, and then, of course, Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor, which his take on Lex Luthor was a little out there if you've ever seen Superman Returns. I thought it'd be cool if I shared some memorabilia. They talked about pop culture and the influences that Superman has. So back in 2006, Papa John's actually did a promotion where they put Brandon Routh's face on a pizza box, and you could order a Superman pizza, which was pretty cool. Fun fact, there's no pizza in that box. All right, and some people like that movie. Basically, the plot was a scheme to kill Superman and reshape North America. That seems to always be Lex's plan. It always has something to do with real estate, which I thought was kind of weird. I got to meet Brandon Routh. I've actually met him twice. Really nice guy. Really enjoyed playing the character. And he tried to play it as close to Christopher Reeve as he could, just because he was a huge fan of those films, just like I am. So that was in 2006, and that was actually when I found out about Metropolis, Illinois, and started attending the Superman celebration. So, and then we had a drought for quite a while. There was comics. Comics were still around. Comics were still being produced. People were still reading comics. And we still had Smallville on TV till 2011. But we had a gap from about 2011 till about 2013 where we didn't have anything. Smallville kind of helped spin off other series that you may have seen on the CW. Arrow, for instance, starring Stephen Amell. Started because of the success of the Arrow character on Smallville, which was a very good series. That also started the other series that you've seen on the CW, like The Flash, like Supergirl, and other series as well. But on June 14th in 2013 was Man of Steel. They released that in 2D, 3D, and IMAX. And it grossed $668 million worldwide, making it the 9th highest grossing film of 2013. Now, critics, they praised the film for visuals and Hans Zimmer for his score, but they criticized it because of its pacing and its lack of character development, and they were kind of like, we don't know what's going on here. It's a complete reboot. Again, like I talked about earlier, it was a darker take on Superman. it wasn't this happy-go-lucky guy that's rescuing people and that kind of thing. It was a darker take, so people didn't know how to take that. The direct sequel to that was entitled Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. That came out March 25th of 2016 to a lot of controversy. A lot of people were like, we don't know if we like Ben Affleck as Batman. We don't know if we're still digging Henry Cavill as Superman. This is kind of weird. Why are they fighting each other? I thought they liked each other, you know. And then they had an extended cut that came out that added some stuff that was, it was a weird film. Not saying I didn't like it, because I like every Superman movie to a point. But Batman versus Superman, it was kind of weird. Let's just be honest. It was kind of weird.
I got a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Actually, I got two. The first one is, what's your favorite memorabilia that you have?
Ooh. Oh, I knew you were going to ask that. That's why I pulled this out. So I went to a book broker 10 years ago, and I got this Christopher Reeve bobblehead, which is really cool. And that's I'm not sure how much it's worth. I'm not sure how much half of this stuff's worth, just because this is only about a third of what I own. But I would say that's one of my most favorite finds. And believe it or not, just now looking at this, it looks like he's missing a hand for some reason. So, well, I guess that's not worth as much as I thought it was.
Other question I have for you is also about memorabilia.
Yes.
What's one piece that you wish you could own that you don't?
Just because my wife would kill me and all that fun stuff, but I would actually like to have one of the screen-worn costumes from Superman the movie. I've actually seen them up close. They're at the Super Museum in Metropolis. If you want to go check it out. Fun fact, the suit it was a shade of blue, but not the shade of blue you see on the movie, just because of the visual effects they had to use, like a green screen, like what you see behind me. That's kind of what they used for a lot of the flying effects. And I actually got to get real close to the cape that Christopher Reeve wore last fall. They actually took it out of its case, and people got to go by and take pictures with it and that kind of thing. So I wish I owned one of those screen-worn suits that I could just put in a case somewhere and look at, because that's really what you need to do with something like that. But unfortunately, that's out of the realm of possibilities for me right now.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
I think we're good for now.
Okay. And then in October of 2017, the movie that everybody's talking about right now, Justice League, right? It actually premiered in Beijing in October and premiered in the United States on November 17th, 2017, which was like 3 days before my birthday. So that was like the best birthday present ever. Got to go see Justice League in the movie theaters. Saw it 2D, 3D, IMAX, all that fun stuff. There's a lot of talk right now about the Zack Schneider cut of Justice League that is going to be released on HBO Max next year. And about 6 or 7 hours ago on Zack Schneider's Twitter, they released a little 30-second teaser to the Zack Schneider cut of Justice League. So if you're interested to see what those 30 seconds are, I'll just tell you, they include Darkseid. So if you know who Darkseid is, he's a bigger, badder villain than Doomsday ever thought about being. So you want to go check out that 30-second clip, and you're a really big fan like I am, it'll definitely absolutely give you some chills, because It's something we've never seen before. And on top of the fact that they're spending quite a bit of money to get this movie finished the way the original director wanted it finished. So who knows how it's going to go. Another fun fact that people don't know about is there's two versions of Superman 2. There is the original theatrical cut of Superman 2, and then there's the Richard Donner cut of Superman 2, because Richard Donner was the director of the original Superman movie, and halfway through Superman 2, they decided they wanted a new director. So Donner didn't get to finish the movie like he wanted, so there are some additional scenes in the Richard Donner cut that aren't included in the theatrical release that are very, very, very awesome. Go check it out. Do we have any other questions?
Not right now.
All right, so I'm going to show off a little bit more of my memorabilia. I have found this on the side of the road. This guy was selling. Oh, there you go. Little stuffed plush Superman. You can move his head around, get him to talk or do whatever you want. That's really fun. Let's see what else I got. Oh, this is fun. This is the Action Comics 80-year anthology. Let's see what this says here. This is 80 Years of Superman, the Deluxe Edition. I'm not sure if libraries carry this. I'm sure Amazon carries this. This is basically a comprehensive book that includes almost every edition of the Superman comics in it. You're going to have the very first Superman story in here, the debut of Supergirl, the first stories of arch villains like Toyman, like Brainiac, and a never-before published story from the original creative studio of Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, dating back 7 decades, which is awesome. I've been through a lot of that book, and there is a lot of cool things in there. Let's see what else I got here. You can find Superman on anything, a lunchbox, right? There's a lot of other toys in there. That's what's banging around in there. You can find, oh, I know Lisa, people love collecting these. These are pops, right?
Oh, yeah.
People love collecting pops. So this is the Hot Topic exclusive Superman in the gray suit that was actually supposed to be in Justice League. And who knows, you may see this in the Zack Schneider cut on HBO Max. So that is a limited edition. There's certain pops that you can only get at certain stores. This is a Funko specialty series. Again, this is a real hard to find pop. I haven't taken these out of the box just because, I don't think you're supposed to. When Man of Steel came out, Hardee's did a real cool promotion, and I've got quite a bit of memorabilia from Hardee's. The toys, some of the cups with some of the characters' faces on it, and that kind of thing. A fun story about that, I actually went into a Hardee's, and they said, "Wow, you've got 6 Superman tattoos. We're going to give you all the merchandise right now, so you don't have to wait for them." Because typically restaurants will release that stuff per week. They'll have a cup out one week, the cup out next week, to get you to come back to the store to spend more money to hopefully collect them all. And I was fortunate enough to get it all in one fell swoop. Same thing with Sonic. Sonic actually had a promotion with Superman where they dressed up their tater tots in Superman garb. So there's like a tater tot Superman, there's a tater tot Wonder Woman, there's a tater tot Lois Lane. It's just weird. Superman's really everywhere if you think about it. Just scrolling through my iTunes library here, there's over 400 songs with Superman references in them, which is unbelievable. I think that's more than any other character out there. There's references everywhere if you think about it. The Superman symbol is actually the most recognized symbol next to the cross of Christ. So it's a symbol that's known around the world. So
I got another question for you.
okay.
Okay, this one's funny. Why hasn't Bruce Wayne bought the Daily Planet and given Clark Kent a promotion?
Man, I don't know. If you think about it, okay, if you watched Justice League, right, and you remember the part in one of the movies where Zod destroys Martha's house, right, throws the truck completely through the house. Like, I imagine, farmers insurance, they always be like, we've seen that happen before. Well, I bet you farmers have never seen that happen before. So they didn't know how they were going to pay for it. They'd lost the house to the bank, whatnot. And he's toward the end of the movie, he's thanking him, thanks, Bruce. Thanks how'd you get the house back? I can't believe you did it. I thought the bank owned it. And Bruce just looks at him and says, I didn't buy the house. I bought the bank. The bank now. So who knows why Bruce hasn't done that? In several iterations of Batman and Bruce Wayne, they'll ask Batman, "Hey, what's your superpower?" And he'll say, "Well, I'm rich. That's really all I need." So.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Not right now.
Let's see what we got here. Just little tags that I keep around the house. This is a little book that I collected along the way that actually has little snippets of every cover of Action Comics from the first 25 years, all the complete covers. There's actually been about 1,000. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's about 1,000, and then they started the New 52 stuff, which was kind of weird. They took the red trunks off Superman. They redid some of the costume stuff as far as that was concerned, and people went crazy. People were legit mad that they took the red trunks off Superman. People make fun of me a lot. They say, well, Superman wears his underwear on the outside. Oh, well, what you got to understand is Superman was created back in the late 30s, and strongmen in the circus typically wore outfits like what you see Superman wearing. So they actually did the costume in such a way to promote strength, because that's what strongmen wore in the circus. But I still get some folks that say, Chuck Norris and Superman got in a fight, and whoever lost had to wear their underwear on the outside. So you can guess who that was. We have any other questions? Okay.
Sorry. No, we don't.
I'm going to share another photo here, and we're going to talk about this because I thought this would be fun to talk about. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So this is the evolution of the Superman logo from 1938 until recently, 2013 Man of Steel. As you can see, in the 1938 Superman symbol kind of looked like a piece of cheese. Not real sure why. And then Action Comics number 7 is where they refined it a little bit. And then it got a little better in 39. And then in 1940, they kind of shaped it up a little bit more. 1940, they made another change. They made a lot of changes in the 40s, guys. I'm not sure what was going on here. And then the Adventures of Superman, you see 1952 there. And then, of course, the iconic one everybody remembers from 78, Superman the movie. And then in the comics in 1985 was actually Crisis on Infinite Earths. So there was a crossover series on the CW this last fall that everybody was raving about, Crisis on Infinite Earths. Everybody was watching it. Brandon Routh actually got to play Superman again. He got to play the Kingdom Come Superman, actually got to put on the suit again. He couldn't talk a lot about it when we met him in Metropolis a couple years ago because they were still in talks about it and actually hadn't started filming anything yet. And then in 1993, there you see the Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman. That's the S that Dean Cain wore in the TV show. 1996 is the Kingdom Come Superman that I just talked about there. 1997, you want to read about a cool comic? Electric Blue Superman was really cool, so check that out. And then, of course, in the year 2000, we had Superman the Animated Series with, I believe, Tim Daly voicing Superman during that time. 2001, we had the iteration of Smallville, which you see the S there. 2002, Smallville also. This is a Kryptonian symbol for the mark of L, which you saw in several episodes of Smallville. Cave drawings. Christopher Reeve actually made a couple appearances in Smallville before his death in 2004 as Virgil Swan, which was kind of cool. They've actually had Annette O'Toole, who played Clark's mom in Smallville, was actually in Superman 3. So a lot of throwbacks between series, like, for instance, Kirk Allen that we talked about earlier, who was in the serials for Superman. There's a brief snippet in the 1978 movie where he plays Lois Lane's dad in the train scene. As you see Superman, Jeff East, as you see Jeff East running by there, and Lois makes the comment of, "Hey, I see a man running there," and the guy says, "Don't pay attention to that, Lois," or something to that effect. That man in that series is Kirk Allen. So the Superman mythology, they do that a lot, where they'll bring people back that have been in shows before, just as a kind of, hey, I wonder how much you love Superman and are you paying attention? So, and then in 2003, you've got the Superman Batman symbol that you've actually seen in I Am Legend with Will Smith. If you pay attention to that movie, there is a Superman reference in that movie. And then in 2006, of course, you got the Superman Returns S, which was kind of rounded. Some people didn't like the suit. Some people didn't care for it. I enjoyed the movie for what it was. So then in 2011, we've got another iteration there of Action Comics #1, which is, I believe, the kind of the new 52, sort of. And then in 2011, again, you got Superman 1, and then, of course, you've got the Man of Steel Superman symbol there to round out. So I would say there's been a lot of changes over the years for the Superman symbol. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, just like Man of Steel talks about, just like Justice League talks about, the symbol stands for hope, and that's really what we got. What we're hoping for with everything that's going on in this world is just hope for a better tomorrow. And I really believe that's what Superman gives all of us, is hope for a better day, and hopefully the strength just to carry on and continue to believe in truth, justice, and the American way. So, like I said, you can visit Metropolis, Illinois, get your Superman fix. Visit the Superman Museum. It's family run and owned, has been since I want to say the early 90s. Yes.
Somebody asked that you're talking about Metropolis if you've attended Superman Days in Metropolis.
Yeah, it's the same thing as Superman Celebration.
Okay.
Some people call it Superman Days. Some people call it Superman Celebration. Yeah, I actually attended the celebration several years in a row. Got to meet all kinds of cool people, and it really feels more like a family reunion when you start going and you start meeting the same people over and over that are passionate about the same thing you are. It's a feeling that you just kind of have to go there and experience for yourself. So hopefully they can be back in full swing next year. They're planning a Fall Back to Metropolis event in October, so you can go over to the Super Museum Facebook page, check that out if you're wanting to go over. I know there'll be some people in costume. I believe they're going to have Jerry the King Lawler over there signing some autographs, and you're thinking, okay, the wrestler, what does he have to do with Superman? Well, Jerry Lawler is actually a really accomplished artist and has actually drawn some Superman for DC Comics. So there is his tie-in to the Superman mythology. And he also owns one of the Batmobiles from the original Adam West Batman series that he brings along with him that people can get photo ops with. I know it was up for sale recently. I don't know if he sold it, but I know they're going to have him over there. They're trying to get some more people over there to take photos. I know there'll be people that are cosplaying constantly that you can take photos with. You can check out the museum. Gosh, there's all kinds of merchandise in there. If you can think of something that may have Superman on it, I can guarantee you it's in that museum, because there's wristwatches, there's telephones, there's cereal boxes, there's just all kinds of stuff. It's the first time I went in there, I was like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have brought all my credit cards in here because now I'm going bankrupt. Do we have any other questions, or do you have any other questions for me?
We don't have any questions at the moment. I do have a question for you, though. My son is obsessed with the newer live-action Justice League movie.
Mm-hmm.
And you said there's a lot of controversy with those. Why do you think that those movies cannot get up to the level of the Marvel movies?
Well, I think Marvel does a great job with marketing. They do a great job with, not to say that DC doesn't do a great job with marketing, because they do. It's a different way on how they built these characters, right? They introduced the characters, and then they brought them all together for Avengers, where it seems like DC is kind of doing it backwards. We're going to introduce the Justice League, and then we're going to do standalone movies. Where shouldn't you have done standalone movies and then brought everybody together for a movie? And Justice League was kind of weird because Zack Schneider had a family tragedy that actually happened during the filming of the movie, and Joss Whedon, Joss, Joss, I'm not sure how you pronounce his name, he had to actually step in and help finish the movie. So that's why it kind of feels a little weird, because, okay, you got one director that had it 75% of the way done, and now you're getting a guy that comes in that does mostly Marvel movies to reshoot some stuff, to do some weird things. People got jokes about Henry Cavill and his whole lip thing at the beginning of the movie, because he was filming Mission Impossible at the time, and Paramount Pictures didn't want him to shave the mustache off, so they had to CGI it off his face. And then the CGI for Steppenwolf looked kind of weird, and that was awkward. And it kind of felt a little rushed. So I'm interested to see next year on HBO Max, what was the vision of Zack Schneider? What did he envision the movie to be? And is it really going to be 3.5, 4 hours long? Are we breaking it into parts? How are we doing this? I'm holding out till next year to hopefully see this thing. Like I said, there's a 30-second clip on Twitter right now on his Facebook page. If you want to get a little taste of what might be going on there, you can check that out. But I'm interested to see what they're going to do next. And there's also been some controversy about how much longer Henry Cavill is actually going to play the character. So who knows?
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate given the opportunity to talk about Superman with your audience. I apologize for the glitches that I had starting out. Kind of the first time I've done one of these remote presentations like this, but hopefully everything turned out well. Oh, let me share a few more pieces of Superman merchandise before we get out of here. So, as everybody likes to talk about, there's these little toys everybody likes to get, right? These are cool. I like to play around with these. I pulled this one out of the lunchbox that I just showed you guys earlier, and there's a little bit of discoloration here, but this is there's some discoloration on the neck, like he's had some neck work done. There's a green tint to him a little bit, but this is actually one of the oldest pieces of Superman merchandise that I own. I believe this is from I don't know, maybe from the 80s, where you could actually take the figures and move the arms, move the legs, kind of like this. And people also ask me, Andy, how big of a Superman fan are you? Well, let me share one last picture with you guys, because this is one of my favorites. And then I can answer any final questions. Let me see here. All right. So a few years ago, my wife had this idea. She said, why don't we get married at the coolest place in the world? So I said, sure, honey, why don't we do that? And so we got married in front of none other than the Superman statue. So I thought that was really cool. We actually made it on the front page of the Paducah Sun, which is the town that's right across the river from Metropolis. I couldn't believe my wife wouldn't agree to get married at the coolest place on the planet. There's only been a handful of people that's been married under the watchful eye of Superman, which was kind of cool. People still come up to us when we're in Metropolis and say, hey, are you guys the people that got married at the statue? So I'll leave you with one cool thing, Lisa. We're going to be making an awesome announcement next month at the Superman statue. So I'll be sharing that soon. I'm not going to tell you guys what it is. I'm not going to drop any hints as to what might be going on, but every major announcement I've had in my life has happened at the Superman statue. I got engaged there. I got married there. I've actually done stand-up comedy in Metropolis at the Superman celebration, which was kind of cool. So we're going to have a big announcement coming up next month. I'll be in the area. We're going to be taking some photos. We're going to do a huge announcement. So everybody's going to need to stay tuned for that.
Well, Andy, thank you so much for taking your time tonight to share your passion and expertise in Superman. I truly enjoyed learning so much from you.
Yeah, and I'll leave you with one fun fact here that I actually left out, that I actually wanted to touch on real quick. Lisa, did you know that Krypton, the planet that Superman comes from, is actually a chemical element on the periodic table, and its atomic number is 36.
Okay, I knew that was an element, but I didn't know it's a time name.
Yeah, and actually its uses are like in high-end photography and that kind of thing. It's the gas that they actually use for like fluorescent lights in offices and that kind of thing. So there's a little bit of krypton floating around for everybody to see if you just look up in the sky.
Very good. Well, thank you again, Andy. I appreciate it. Hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.